New York City Football Club's 2021 MLS season was a roller coaster ride of highs and lows, but proved to be forever memorable in the end, lifting the league's most prestigious trophy, the MLS Cup. To get there, however, was a long journey. The club was coming off a disappointing end to the 2020 season. After finishing 5th in league play, NYCFC saw the playoffs end swiftly, exiting in the first round after losing in a penalty shootout to Orlando City. But the 2021 season marked a new opportunity for the New York City Football Club. Head coach Ronny Deila entered his second season as manager, and New York City returned almost their entire starting 11, including new captain and veteran goalkeeper Sean Johnson, midfielder Maxi Morales, as well as key defensive pieces Alexander Kalins and Maxime Chanot. In addition, the club also had a wealth of young talent ready to take on the MLS.
I think we're much stronger now than we were last year because we have been 1 year together. We have developed a lot of the players is there. I think they're taking steps all the time. We have many young, good players that's just in the start of their career. And like you have with Tati Castellano, you have Jesus Medina, you have James San, you have Keaton Parks. Go on and have many young good players, and I think they are developing all the time. As it is here in the US, when playoffs is everything, we can just make us stronger and stronger during the season as well. So I'm just looking forward now to get started. I think we look really good. We are ready, much more ready than we have been before.
The season started slow for NYCFC, who by July 23rd sat at 7th in the Eastern Conference, but things quickly began to pick up, and the Pigeons would go undefeated in their next 5 matches, winning 3 and having a goal differential of 10. And they stayed hot, finishing off the month of August, knocking off the New England Revolution, the number 1 team in the MLS, with a 2-0 victory at Yankee Stadium.
But it gives our confidence into the rest of the games that we know we can beat also so far the best team in the league. And I think it was a good quality game. They showed they are a good team, but I think we handled them in a very good way and deserved to win in the end.
While it had all but looked like the Pigeons had cemented their path in the playoff picture, with just 2 months to go, things took a turn for the worse. A disastrous September saw New York City lose 5 games and only pick up 5 points over a 7-game span, which included going winless in 3 derby matches versus the Red Bulls. The club was back in the bottom of the playoff picture and in desperate need of points. But a defining moment in the season came on Wednesday, October 20th, on the brink of losing yet another game. Down 1-0 in the 90th minute versus Atlanta United FC, New York City had one last hope. Gudmundur Thórarinsson lined up to take a free kick from about 30 yards out and drilled it to avoid a loss and give the club a much-needed point.
What have we gone 6 games without a win? And yeah, you look around and you think, how is this possible? We have a great team and great players, and especially what we've shown earlier in the season. And it's so difficult to find exactly what it is. We are working every day to solve it, but then again, maybe sometimes we're overthinking, and it's just back to playing football, enjoying it, and hopefully this moment will give us energy into the next games.
Not only did the goal by Goody give a much-needed point to NYCFC, but it also gave them second life, and the club did not lose a game for the rest of the regular season, defeating DC United, the Chicago Fire, Inter Miami, and tying the Philadelphia Union to push them into the playoffs. Leading the way for New York City was Tati Castellanos, who scored 6 goals over the 4-game span and placed himself among the top of the MLS in goal scoring, earning him the Golden Boot. Castellanos and NYCFC placed 4th in the Eastern Conference with 51 total points and rewarded a home playoff game in a rematch against Atlanta United FC on November 21st. In the first-round matchup with Atlanta, New York City seized the opportunity, cashing in 2 goals early in the second half by Tati Castellanos and Alexander Kalins to give them the lead. But the story was a shutdown defensive effort that allowed just 4 shots on target, propelling them to victory. And your final score from Yankee Stadium across New York City 2, Atlanta 0.
that's kind of the minimum we have to expect from ourselves, is just to, everybody will work defensively. And it has to be the same way going into our next game, because, they have a lot of quality as well. And, there's a reason that Revs finished number 1, and it'll be important for us to kind of shut down their key players like we did today.
Next up, NYCFC had a date with the number 1 seeded Revolution in New England, and both teams came out of the gate firing, with the two sides trading goals in the first 10 minutes. The deadlock remained and continued into extra time, where Tati Castellanos got a goal for NYCFC in the 109th minute, but the lead would not last, with the Revolution tying it up with 2 minutes to go and sending the match into penalties. But New York City FC would prevail thanks to big saves by Sean Johnson and the winning penalty by Alexander Kalins. NYCFC moved on to the Eastern Conference Finals, where they were set to play the Philadelphia Union. In the Eastern Conference Final, the Pigeons would once again be tested, and after falling behind 1-0 in the 63rd minute, they answered right back. 2 minutes later, a goal from Maxi Morales tied things up. And then again in the final minutes of regulation, Taish Magno got New York City FC the winning goal to send the club to their first ever MLS Cup.
What we have done so far has been just amazing. And but the biggest one is coming on Saturday. And we have everything to win there. Go to Portland, tough place. They have been in these finals before. We haven't. But we will do everything to get more energy into us before the game.
All the way from out of playoff contention, a magical run landed NYCFC in the MLS Cup final, where they would head to Portland to take on the Timbers. Both sides struggled to start. Neither team was able to get any chances going, but finally, in the 41st minute, the Golden Boot Tati Castellanos knocked a header into the back of the net to put NYCFC ahead. And the club held on to the lead and was on the edge of winning the cup until the 94th minute, when at the very end of stoppage time, Portland's Felipe Mora got the last-minute equalizer. 30 more minutes of extra time came and went, and a penalty shootout was left to decide the final. It was here where NYCFC goalkeeper and MLS Cup MVP Sean Johnson was the difference maker, coming up with 2 huge saves to set up Alexander Kalins, who hit the game-winning penalty and captured the club's first ever MLS Cup.
And this is what we live for, these moments, to be the MVP of the finals. It means the world, but it means so much more to lift the cup for this club.
After being crowned champions of the MLS, NYCFC returned to New York City at City Hall to celebrate with fans and Mayor Bill de Blasio.
And finally, bringing out the MLS Cup, accompanied by Mayor Bill de Blasio and his son Dante, your 2021 MVP, our captain, number 1, Sean Johnson!
What we have achieved together is amazing, unbelievable. I will remember for the rest of my life. I almost start crying again. I don't want to do that, but make me emotional because it's about people. It's about being together. It's about doing something together because you're nothing alone. It's us. So thank you everybody for that.
New York City Football Club finished the season on a 9-game unbeaten streak en route to the MLS Cup victory. NYCFC's win not only brought the club its first ever championship, but it gave the city of New York its first professional sports championship since the Giants in 2012, making New York a city of champions once again.